Hello, and welcome to 100 Days in Harvestblock. I'm your host, Christianato, and today we'll be going through a Minecraft mod pack in which the only way to get resources will be through plants. Will I be able to overcome all the obstacles that come my way, or will they overcome me? Only one way to find out. Stay tuned. So we start off in day one with a dirt plant and one patch of dirt. Had to expand the island a little bit, and as you'll see, the only way I can expand even more is through getting dirt. Best thing I can do is craft dirt sticks, which will then allow me to craft crop sticks, which will allow me to get more dirt plants. Obviously, with more dirt plants, it will increase the speed at which I can grow out this tiny little island I have made my home. So, I expanded even more with more. The more I get, the better everything will go. And now that I have 3, I will take away this middle one, make that into regular dirt, and I will place down the crop sticks in that pattern. One thing that pattern will allow me to do is, well, those plants merge together and will create me a wood plant. Wood is obviously necessary to do a whole bunch of things, as anybody playing Minecraft will know. That is one of the first resources you want to get. So that's one of the first resources that I get in this mod pack. I then take the wood essence that I get from it and craft my first oak wood and make that into planks in order to expand my island even more. While I cannot plant on wood, it is still pretty useful as an expander as well. As anybody knows, there's tons of things you can do with wood that you can't really do with anything else. So anyway, I worked at getting as much resources as I could to expand out, and that's basically what I did on day 1. I'm just showing you a bit of what it will take if you want to play this mod pack yourself, how long it will take. And in case you haven't been noticing, I've been shifting this entire time. One thing that does is it allows the crops to grow a little bit faster because they have that mod pack installed in this mod. So I then set about getting even more resources, getting the most amount of resources that I possibly could. Very shortly I'll skip ahead a little bit because, well, naturally, this isn't all that entertaining, but it just goes to show how much work even the simplest things are in this mod pack. So, it is the first night, and I have expanded a tiny little bit. I've crafted even more crop sticks, and well, one thing that allows me to do is this pack has achievements you can unlock, and it gave me a seed analyzer as one of the rewards for the achievement. This thing is very useful. As you will see, I can place my crops in there and it will show me the levels that they're at. Each has 3 levels that they can get at. It's got growth, which pretty sure that's pretty explanatory. It's got gain, which again, it's pretty explanatory. It's how much resources you will get from each crop. And it's got strength, which is basically, I believe that the higher strength, the higher the levels the others will get. So if you get that 10, the others are able to get to 10. I believe. I could be wrong about that. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, so I spent a lot of time grinding out some resources. And then I set about creating a mob farm, as this would be one thing that I would need in order to progress further, as you need inferium essence, which you can get from mobs in this mod pack. So I set about creating a mob spawner. Sorry it's a little bit dark, but as you can see, it's pretty neat. Got 2 layers to it. This will allow mobs to go, and unfortunately, although I don't have water, they should be coming down this still pretty quickly. So, we will find out a little bit later how that goes. But anyway, so this is my mod farm that I've created. Looks pretty good, in my opinion. And just setting those down like that will then allow the mobs to go down. They'll believe there's a path there and they will fall down and ultimately die. Well, they won't die. They will basically end up with half a heart, which is basically what I want, because then I'm able to kill them myself and get the experience. And as we could see a little bit later, it turns out that it was working real well. So that's a great thing. And get a bit of spiders because of that. Oh, and I decided to make it a little bit safer by using up some of my wood to create fences around it. That way I wouldn't have to worry that I back out and accidentally fall into the void, which is really something you want to avoid. But anyway, so just this goes to show how many resources it took me to actually get to where I was at. Yeah. Basically, it took me 2 full days to get my dirt and wood up to 10-10-10 level, and then after that, on day 5, my mob grinder was finally complete. Then, I made inferium soil, and as that is a quest I had to do in order to get some of these other things that I will need in order to just do what is necessary. So, I then went about getting some nature seeds, as that would be very useful in getting myself some grass blocks, as I would need seeds in order to get inferium seed. I would need regular wheat seeds in order to get inferium seeds. So, I got myself some nature and crafted in a certain way that would get me a grass block. Then using some of the bone meal that I got from the skeletons that fell down. Then using some of the bone meals I got from the skeletons that fell down, I set about getting some grass and breaking it, hoping that I could get some wheat seeds. I knew eventually I would, but it took a little bit. It actually took me, got flowers first, and as you can see, it was taking me a little bit, so I decided to instead expand this area a little bit. Using the previous methods I showed, I crafted more grass blocks. Then, in a 9x9 area, I broke all the grass blocks, and still was having issues finding seeds. But eventually one came about. There we go. I found one. I was then able to craft inferium seeds, as that would be very useful in crafting other kinds of plants, and also in getting me plenty of inferium that I would need for, basically, you need inferium for almost everything in this pack, so it's best to get inferium seeds as quickly as possible. Cleaning out the junk that I had, I then set about crafting the inferium seed. Then I had to find a place that would be suitable to put it down, and I realized I had a couple more wheat seeds, so I decided I would take the opportunity to try and get some food out of that. Crafting them in a pattern like this allows for the best growth, as you can place one seed in the middle, allow it to grow a little bit, and then everything will go well. So I found a place to put my Inferium seeds then, and put in a pattern that would allow it to grow. Accidentally broke the middle one before all of them had gone around. And then one thing about this is it will both be a little bit quicker for them to level up the seed, and also when it does level up, the levels you get will be higher. So I recommend leveling up your stuff in a pattern like that. And on day 8, I finally crafted a bed from all the string that I'd gotten. And I took time to... I placed that a little bit too close to my mob grinder. Probably should have recognized that. And I took time to take a nap. When I woke up, I almost fell into the void. So I decided I would create a platform for my bed. That way that would not happen. And I went about leveling up the seeds again. And as you can see, I'm throwing them away basically because they were useless. Then, using nature and wood, I was able to get a water seed, or a water plant. And then, using Inferium and wood, I was then able to get, just wait for it, here it comes shortly, I was able to get a fire seed. Now, what could I possibly want with a water and fire seed? What can you get from water and fire in normal Minecraft? Well, from water and lava in normal Minecraft. That's right, I was after the stone seed, the upgrade that would get me away from all my stone tools and stuff like that. Would just be overall just better. So it took me a couple of tries. You don't exactly get what you want right away usually. And then I set about crafting a little platform in which more seeds could be planted. As you'll see here, sometimes I place blocks where they shouldn't be and have to tear them down. But then I was able to put my stone seeds down and my wooden fire seeds because, well, my water and fire seeds, because, well, naturally they'll be useful for other things later on, like when I actually get iron and able to make water buckets and lava buckets. I don't end up traveling to the nether. I kind of just skip that part in this mod pack. And, well, anyway, I went back to grinding some mobs. Witches were the ones that gave me the most trouble as well. They ended up healing themselves when they got down to the bottom. I then had to craft this little platform. Find out, well, the reason I had to do this was because most of the other seeds require higher tier soil than just level tier 1 Inferium soil. In order to do that, it requires some bizarre recipes. I would need to use a whole bunch. And I tried to go to bed this night. I think it was night 10 or 11. But this Enderman was bothering me. Wouldn't let me sleep. So I did what any natural person would do and just pushed them into the void. There we go. Bye-bye. Was able to take a nap. Then I could get back to my work in getting the tier 2 seeds. Well, the tier 2 soil, which needed mossy cobblestone. And if you took a knife to it, you'd be able to harvest the moss off of it. I'll speed this up because this is going to take a long time. This is a long, tedious process that Well, I've never really found a way to automate. It would be real nice if I could, because placing all these down, crafting them, and then taking my tools to break them down took a long time. This is one of the most tedious tasks there is, other than just shifting around the plants in order to get them to grow and all that. So, on day 14 was when I finally got the next tier of soil. And, well, it would take me a while. So anyway, I was able to get the next tier of soil on day 14. And everything was going pretty well, despite the fact that I was taking a bit of time. Another thing I need in order to do that was take my Inferium and basically just level that up, as that would be needed to be leveled up in order to get the Inferium, which I needed for the tier 2 soil. But after that, I had all the resources that I needed. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video so far. If you do end up liking this video, please, it would very help me out if you guys would check out some other videos. Maybe leave a like if you want. Not really asking for that. Please check out some other videos if you enjoyed this one. And on day 17, I was able to get a coal plant. This would be pretty useful as a furnace fuel, as then I wouldn't need to use so much wood. And I crafted another platform up here, just so that I could show off that tier 2 is on a higher tier. I used dirt up here because mobs can't spawn on shoveled dirt. Therefore, that would make this a little bit safer, and I wouldn't really need to worry about too much. I then worked on leveling up my Inferium plant, as that was very important to do. That's one thing I would recommend doing, leveling up them to level 10, and then leveling them up to tier 2. As basically a level 5 tier 2 is basically the same thing as a level 10 tier 1. But you can level up the tier 2 to a level 10, and then so on and so forth. And it will become stronger as it goes on. I then decided that I'd spend enough time on this little platform without a little bed, without a proper house. So I spent some time using some different woods, crafting myself a little house, that way I could have a pretty nice place to stay. As you'll see, this platform is made from 2 different wood, while this bottom floor is made from jungle logs and acacia planks. I really like the orange look, and I'm really a fan of jungle wood, so that's why I did what I did. I then moved all my storage. These are storage boxes, storage crates. Basically, they hold a lot of one item, and a neat thing about them is you don't have to go into a chest or anything. If you just if you left click on them, if you right click on them, if you right click on them, it will take all of that type and throw them into the crate. Basically, a very quick way of clearing out my inventory. Also, they keep their inventory if you break them, so that's another neat thing. Then went about setting myself a bedroom, using some of my wood planks in order to just craft a little room that I could call my bedroom. I end up changing this room a couple times, so it won't stay the same. throughout the entire video, but this is what it was to start off. Didn't exactly like where my bed was to begin with, so. And then after that, I set about getting some silicon seeds, using silicon to get aluminum seeds, using aluminum and fire to get me copper seeds. This was a pretty big process. And then using the aluminum and copper in order to get me the iron. It's a bit of a process to actually get to that point, so that's why I basically just sped through that. And that was on day 26 that I got the copper, and day 27 that I got the iron. I was making pretty good progress, but unfortunately, there's a whole bunch left to do. For instance, one of the next steps I would need to take would be to go through Britannia. If you know anything about that mod pack, you know that that's a tedious and, in my opinion, boring mod pack to go through. I really don't like that mod pack. So, I just took my time creating a big platform that Britannia deals a lot with flowers, so I figured if I created a large platform in order to grow all the flowers on, everything would be a little bit nicer. So, here's the huge platform that I created in order to be able to do Britannia. Then, naturally, my next step was to instead doing some farming. Because in case I didn't say this before, I'm really not a fan of Britannia, so I decided to take some time out. But hey, can you blame me? Take a look at this nice little garden that I created. You can blame me for skipping out on Britannia, but eventually I had to take some steps. You start off by crafting some floral fertilizer, and you get these interesting looking flowers, which you can use. You can make them into petals, and there's a large quest for that to get all the different types of petals. Then if you place the petals down, and you take some bone meal, which I apparently forgot about, take some bone meal and a pair of shears. That is 2 things you will need if you go through this. Anyway, and you bone meal the petals. You get these giant flowers, which will give you even more petals. Small flowers give you 2 petals per flower. Large ones give you 4. So you're kind of doubling everything with just the cost of a bit more bone meal. But you can make sure that you never really run out of those certain petals, and then everything else would be a slight bit easier. Anyway, so as you see here, I got every kind of flower and made them large. And then I took a little bit more time away because, well, if you've ever played Britannia, then you know. But if you haven't, well, play a mod pack with Britannia, and you'll find out why I really don't like it. Anyway, so on day 44, I saw everything was getting dark, so I went to bed, and I found out that didn't help. Found out there was actually a solar eclipse. So that was a little bit weird, and I thought I'd just mention that. So that was day 44. And eventually, after a bit of work, which I'll cut out just because it is a lot. If you really want to see that, well, if you really want to know what it's like, you can easily find videos about Britannia itself, but anyway, here's the short. I had to create this complex contraption in order to get the next tier of soil. That's the only way. That's the only way to get that next tier of soil, and the only reason I would ever go through Britannia to begin with. If I had to in order to progress. So, first thing I did was upgrade my inferium plants, then took a nap. And then, on day 67, a creeper had surprised me. Blew up a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of my tier 1 plants, and a whole bunch of my tier 2. A lot of them went into the void, unfortunately, and I had to fix that up. On day 71, I was starting to get into the Industrial Machines mod pack. This requires a large amount of space as well, so, but it doesn't require any grass, so I created the whole platform out of wood. A little bit easier, and I kind of just liked it a little bit better. And there's a few machines here, like the kiln, which will alloy kiln, which will take two different metals and make it into a new one. So that's pretty interesting. If you haven't ever been through this mod pack, been through the Industrial Machines mod pack, then I set about creating a coke oven. Basically, this will allow a whole bunch of different things, like it allows you to take iron and make that into steel. It allows you to take coal and make that into coal coke, which coal coke is it's pretty useful. It basically doubles the amount of time that coal is able to be smelted. So, took 27 coke bricks in a 3x3x3 pattern in order to make this. As you can see, it's pretty easy. Nothing really complex, just gotta create those. And there we go. The coke oven is created. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't allow these. I don't think it allows. I may be wrong about the it allowing the iron to go into steel. I'm a little bit confused on some things. Anyway, one of the next things I did then was used fire and my silicone to get Grains of Infinity, which is needed for Industrial Machines mod pack. And basically the normal way you would get it, well, in the Industrial Machines mod pack, is by taking a flint and steel to bedrock. This is a little bit easier than that, so I kind of like that. I then went about creating redstone seeds. Sorry. Yes, it was redstone. No, gold. Sorry, I went about creating gold. Sorry about that. Because I thought that would be the next thing that I would need. And, well, you can never go wrong with getting a lot of gold. I could then later create golden apples if I so desired as a food source, or golden carrots. I had carrots in my phone. And, well, that is the best food source. So, anyway. Especially when it's as renewable as it is in this mod pack, and as easy as it is in this mod pack. Then I set about getting the redstone seeds. It would take creeper seeds and nether plant. Well, a creeper plant and a nether plant in order to create the redstone seeds. So, I went about creating that and got myself a whole bunch of redstone. Then using some of these simpler machines, I was able to get myself some blaze powder, and all this would be needed to create a crusher, a giant crusher. That was on day 97 that that was on day 93 that I set about creating the crusher, trying to gather all the materials. This required a whole bunch of grinding of materials, but on day 97 I was able to start building that machine. Basically just had to go through this little book here to tell me how everything would be done. You can take some time to read that if you like. But anyway, there wasn't really any useful information for me, so I moved on and set about figuring out how to create this. There's a lot of blocks in there, so I had to figure out how exactly is it done. And I'd stored all my materials in that little chest, which was now in the way. So, hitting the play button, it went through building it, and I could see layer by layer how this is supposed to be made. It took me a while to figure out exactly how to do it, so if you're also having issues, you're not alone. It is a bit of a complex machine. And unfortunately, it just takes a bit. But yeah. This just shows you exactly how to make it, just in case you were wondering. I forget what the materials were actually called. Anyway. After figuring all this out and finding the best way to get through everything, I was able to create it layer by layer. And that thing goes there, and that there. Then the fences all around, like this. And then it would take the 9 hoppers on top, which is pretty expensive unless you have an easy way to get it, like I do in this mod pack. To get iron, like I do in this mod pack. Then I sat down and with just a hit of the hammer, there was a little skeleton inside. With a little hit of the hammer, I transformed it into the grinder that it was supposed to be. It had no power in it, so it would not do anything. As you can see, it doesn't hurt me when I stand in it with no power. But you'll see a little bit later that if I do have power going to it, you do not want to stand in it because it will start grinding you. That is how powerful this machine is. And anyway, so I took this little thing, basically what this does is if you have water on one side and lava on the other, it will create infinite amount of power. So, after a little bit of time, after I got it created, placed the lava down, didn't want to burn up that, went to get my water, and then climbed back up. Had a little bit of issues, but was able to. It had, as you can see, this machine had a little bit of power in it from different things. I tried a different power source before, but it wasn't creating much power, and this crafted a lot. Anyway, I didn't end up getting any diamonds, so that was a bit of a failure there. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me to get today on this video, and I hope to see you in another video. Please check out the video right there. Bye. Bye.